You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to set blood, ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Oh, I live in the hood, ass nigga. Never got put on, always claiming the hood though. Oh, you fucking with the homegirl, but don't come to the hood with none of your damn homeboys. They don't get a pass. Had the little homies press they ass for your tattoos. Had your mama waking up to some bad news. The plug saying groove, I'm a dime. I was long in the race, skinny nigga with the braid. Took a 2-man fade. I'm really from the hood. I took a fucking break to get my money right. But I was banking on the plane in the meeting with Jermaine. They like, poet, oh, you bang? They forgot where I came from. I was gang banging when it wasn't fun. Homie doing life right now, cause we don't You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to set blood, ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. And that goes for these hoes too. Start fucking on niggas and throwing these niggas hood up. Ha, little dot. Heard you gave a homie head in the trap spot. Got a throwaway in the stash spot. Boy, you not real, like a Sasquatch. Boy, I'm so high, I'm seeing astronauts. Boy, I ball hard, I need a mascot. Poet, and Swahili, I'm a damu. My little cousin making paru. My niggas Uzi, he from Fire Deuce. Pad blows, I be hanging with some real whoops. Gang signs out the window when we drive coupes. Making money with some crips like it's 92. Banging on tracks. Back in my days, it was banging on. You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to set blood, ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood.
Fuck Chris Brown, nigga. Pull up in the hood right now, nigga. Catch your fade, nigga. Fuck, nigga. Frogs.
You ain't from the hood.
Holla so the blood starts swirling. Fuck the time.
What's up, chat? I hope you didn't waste your time watching that damn whatever you want to call it. First of all, you knew it was gonna be a slaughter. You knew Dr. Oz was gonna dominate, you know what I'm saying? But you have to make it through all the Joe Biden language talking and not making no sense nonsense. So if you watch it for a political point of view, you was highly disappointed. But if you was looking at it for a pure comedy skit or a pure comedy feedback or pure comedy, if you got high and drunk and you was watching the debate, you was laughing your ass off. But if you from Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying, if you're in Pennsylvania, any one of those city, Pittsburgh, and you was trying to find some politics or something to go with Fetterman on, like, yeah, I can root for Fetterman. Yeah, he's doing better. You was absolutely wrong. And you have to be frustrated with what you saw today. You have to be very frustrated. The polls tomorrow should flip, right? Dr. Oz is 1% down. By tomorrow, that nigga should be 5% up. Because if you watch this debate, it was one of the most horrible sightings. I felt sorry for the dude. Like, you know, in the middle of the debate, I started feeling sorry for him. I'm like, you know what? This is wrong. Like, why would they even do that? Like, this felt like some Joe Biden shit. Like I don't know who I feel sorry for. Like, him or Joe Biden. It could be him because he had a heart attack. But it could be Joe Biden because Joe Biden is old as shit, right? So I don't know which one I feel more sorry for. So I feel more sorry for the person that it happened to naturally that lost his mind, or should I feel sorry for the motherfucker who had a medical condition lost his damn mind? I don't know who to feel sorry for. But if you watch this shit is hilarious. Let's roll the tape. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta unmute it. Let's roll the tape on this hilarious skit right here. This is hilarious.
Your political experience includes serving as the mayor of Braddock, a small borough near Pittsburgh, and one term as lieutenant governor. You're running for a seat that could decide the balance of power in Washington.
You know how many people in Braddock? 1,700 people in Braddock, right? This nigga went from 1,700, now he's trying to control or take control of being responsible for over a couple of million, right? You failed at 1,700 or 17,000, one of them. Now you want to take on like 5 million? It's not going to work.
What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator? You have 60 seconds.
His wife is calling for an apology from NBC after one of their reporters raised fresh questions about his health.
Right? Before we even get into the debate, right? His wife, remember his wife is getting mad because he was trying to butter her up for the debate. Like, she was trying to make sure that after she knew he was going to get demolished in the debate, she wanted everybody to have sympathy for her husband, right? Trying to call him basically a retard, right? This debate done went from a candidate for the Senate to sympathy for a retard, right? And they finna say it. Disclaimer, right? This is this informational video. I didn't mean to say retard.
I'm also having to talk about something called the Oz rule, that if he's on TV, he's lying.
The Oz rule. What about the Fetterman rule? When you got to go on TV, you got to get damn closed captioning, right? What about the Fetterman rule, right? If you don't get closed captioning when you got to argue your point for Pennsylvania inside the Senate, huh? Is you gonna have the Fetterman rule when your ass got to talk policies? Is you gonna have the Fetterman rule when your ass got to sign policies that help Pennsylvania? Is you gonna have the Fetterman rule then, huh? Or is you gonna have the Fetterman brain, huh? When you sign that shit, it's been over 7 months, right? You won the damn lieutenant governor, or you won the damn primary when you was in the damn hospital. You ain't been right since. You ain't been right since you been inside the little fucking bubble you in right now as running for a candidate for Senate. Your ass ain't been right. You ain't answering no questions. You ain't done no interview. You ain't doing no press conference. You ain't done no news shows. You ain't done nothing unless it was closed captioning and you had shit in front of you. Huh? Think about it. How long is it going to take? Do you even know if it's going to come back? Do you know if it's going to snap back? You don't know how long this nigga been sick. You don't know how long this nigga been retarded.
Giselle Fetterman telling The Independent, quote, if this happened in a school, if this was a child that was ableist towards another child.
You hear that? They're trying to reduce it to a child, right? They're trying to say, okay, when Fetterman go up into this debate, we need to treat him like a child. If this was a child treating another child like this, why would you say that about a grown man? He is not a child. He's a grown man. Why is he trying to break it down and make it seem like it's so sensitive? It's a sensitive issue. If this was a child, they're talking about another child. No, this is a man that's running for the U.S. Senate. If he can't talk about his mental condition, you know what I'm saying? He don't need to be his ass in the damn Senate. And he don't need his wife talking about his mental condition live on TV and on all the news damn stations talking about if he was a kid or if it was kids in elementary, they wouldn't get away with this shit. Well, they ain't supposed to. And grown men ain't supposed to. I mean, they supposed to. He grown.
Or a teacher, there would have been issues stated.
He did that during his career on his TV show. He's done that during his campaign about lying about our record here. And he's also lying probably during this debate.
He's lying about our record here, and he's also lying about this debate. He can't even get out a full sentence. When, like Pennsylvania, when is he gonna get out a full sentence? It's getting sick. It's getting right now. It's getting kind of fucking scary. When is he gonna be able to form a full sentence? He keep on saying, I might talk with double words. I might put two words together. Well, when your ass gonna start putting one word together? Huh? When? Nigga, it's been 7 months. It's almost been a year. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, huh? Pittsburgh, y'all better listen.
I would love to see an apology towards the disability community from her and from her next.
from the disability community, right? I would like to see an apology towards the disability community. What the hell did Dr. Oz got to apologize for the disability community because this nigga had a stroke? You see how they trying to line this shit up and make it seem all sensitive? Don't feel sorry for Mr. Fetterman, because he had a stroke, and Dr. Oz picking on him. He need to apologize to the whole disabled community. Ain't that a bitch?
Network for the damage they have caused.
Good looking out, Dean Peterson, right? If only and just were candies and nuts, then every day would be. Ain't that shit they have over there in London, Oktoberfest or whatever, some shit like that. I can't pronounce that word, but it sounds like some drunk shit. Nuts. If ifs and nuts was uncle, if ifs was nuts, my auntie would be my uncle, huh? They saying, why would you talk about him like that? He's not in a shape to be talked about. Well, his ass is in a debate, damn it.
And let's also talk about the elephant in the room. I had a stroke. He's never let me forget that.
It's hard to watch him speak.
And I might miss some words during this debate, mush two words together, but it knocked me down, and I'm going to keep coming back up.
Because you want the words to flow. You want him to be able to have that ease of communication.
And he don't have the ease of communication, right? These are Pennsylvania voters talking about his lack of communication, his lack of talking, his lack of putting words and sentences together, right? His lack of brain functioning, right? So Pennsylvania, if this is Pennsylvania voters are concerned about him, why your ass ain't concerned about him? You need to be concerned about this dude too. This nigga is insane.
About fighting for everyone in Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that needs to get back up, and fighting for all forgotten communities all across Pennsylvania that also got knocked down, that needs to get back up.
That needs to get back up. What word did he mean? That needs to keep back up. You made me confused. I don't even know the right phrase, right? You trying to work for people who get knocked down, who trying to get back up, or who need to, I don't know what phrase you was trying to use. You done fucked up the whole English language. You worse than Joe Biden. I thought Joe Biden was insane. I don't even know what phrase you is trying to use. They're trying to knock back down and get back up.
I don't have a problem with the fact that he needs closed captioning.
Maureen Faulkner accompanied me today to the studio. You know, her husband was a police officer in Philadelphia, was brutally murdered. John Fetterman, during this crime wave, has been trying to get as many murderers convicted and sentenced to life in prison out of jail as possible, including people who are similar to the man who murdered her husband.
Because John Fetterman say he's tough on crime, right? He's tough on crime, right? But he want to let all the murders out. Y'all remember that incident happened when that police officer got shot out there in Philly? Y'all remember that shit? Retired police officer got shot. Well, she not going for Fetterman, and he was in office. Did he help her then? Did he reach out then? Right? No, but he want to be tough on crime, but he wasn't tough on crime when it happened. He didn't make sure that dude was prosecuted, right? That or got harsher sentences because he murdered a cop, right? It should be special circumstances or something like that. He didn't want to do no shit like that, right? He didn't console the family. He didn't do shit for the family. Right? He promoted the Black Lives Matter. He promoted the people that killed the cops. Huh? And then he want to get on here talking about he support cops and he tough on crime?
Yeah. I am a Democrat that is running on my record on crime.
He running on his record on crime. Right? He running on his record on crime. Well, if that was the case, you need to drop the fuck up out the race if you're running on your record on crime.
39% of them listed that as the top issue. Beginning with you, Mr. Oz.
John Fetterman's, however, response continually is to raise taxes. He raised taxes as mayor. He tried to raise taxes as lieutenant governor, 46%. That's a big tax rate. He supported Joe Biden's recent tax rate increase, and he's done that without paying his own taxes 67 times.
That's fucked up, right?
He raised taxes as mayor.
Wait, that's fucked up. That's like me, right? That's like me paying child support for another kid, right? And not paying child support for mine, right? Like, I complain about another nigga. No, that's like complaining about another nigga not paying his child support and I'm not paying mine. Like, this nigga not paying his child support, and I done missed every damn child support since this nigga been born. Every birthday, every Christmas, all of that. I want to point the finger at another nigga, you know what I'm saying? The girlfriend I'm with right now, I want to point the picture at her baby daddy that he ain't doing shit when I ain't doing shit for my kid. Same thing.
He tried to raise taxes as lieutenant governor, 46%. That's a big tax rate. He supported Joe Biden's recent tax rate increase, and he's done that without paying his own taxes 67 times.
Mr. Fetterman, I will allow a 15-second rebuttal. He has specifically...
You got to give that nigga 30 seconds. You can't give him no 15 seconds. It'll take him 15 seconds to even think of a damn phrase to get out or read the closed captioning. You got to give him 30 seconds. 15 seconds is 7 seconds of Fetterman.
Said you have not paid your taxes and that you want to raise taxes on Americans. How do you respond?
Absolutely. The Oz rule, of course, he's lying. It was helping two students 17 years ago to help them, buy their own homes. They didn't pay the bills, and it got her paid, and it has never been an issue in any of the campaign before. It was all about nonprofit.
And they got an issue, right? I'm finna let you know how you know Fetterman a damn lie about his brain, right? Because if you had a stroke, right, it messes with one side of your body. You know what I'm saying? Particularly the left side or heart, whatever the hell you want to say. It also messes your body, right? If your body is perfectly working, you don't need a wheelchair, you don't need assistance. You were standing right here for a whole hour with a podium with no assistance, right? For your body, but you need one for your mental, right? Your body, like some people who got strokes, their body and their mind recovered them at the same time or the same pace or at least close, right? Because your mind also controls your body, because your body can't do nothing without your mind. Your mind is controlling your body, and your body is a slave to your mind, right? Your body got to do what your mind say. It has no matter. I don't give a fuck what condition you in. If your body is weak, your mind is strong. Your mind can tell your body what to do. It has no choice. It has to do what your mind say. So if your mind say stand here for an hour, guess what? Your body got to stand there for an hour, huh? So what connection your mind ain't having with your thinking that it has with your body? You can stand for a whole hour, but your ass can't think for 10 seconds. Huh? You physically healthy after a stroke, but your ass not mentally healthy. Well, when your ass gonna get mentally healthy? Sometimes, like the doctor told me when my mama had her little brain aneurysm and stuff, if she don't come back in 72 hours, it's a possibility she might be a vegetable for the rest of her life. The first 72 hours is the most important, right? Because that's the recuperation time, right? You don't get no brain. You can get brain activity back and stuff like that, but you don't reproduce brain and shit. If your brain is gone, your brain is gone. You got to exercise. You got to come back. You got to get time. You got to retool, and you got to rethink, and you got to relearn shit. You just can't have a brain a fucking aneurysm or a heart attack or a stroke and then hop right back in the damn race. Some people got to be taught to walk again, to eat again, all that shit. My grandfather had a stroke. You got to get taught all kind of shit. Now all of a sudden your ass had a stroke and your ass don't go to no training, don't go to no rethinking, no retalking and all that shit and hop right back in the Senate. Hell no, that shit don't work. Ask somebody who had a stroke. They got to go through physical therapy for their mind and their body. Now all of a sudden your body right, but your mind ain't right. Ain't that a bitch?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fetterman. Continuing with you, Mr. Fetterman, your opponent has criticized Democratic spending, as you heard. Has the Biden administration overspent? And if so, where do you think spending should be cut?
I think spending should be cut on these damn donations on this damn page. Spending cut. Cut the damn check on the donations, y'all.
You have 60 seconds.
I think that way for him, and if he becomes my representative, I'd want him to be clear as to what the other party was saying.
No, here's what I think we have to fight about inflation here right now. That's what we need to fight about, inflation.
Here's what we have to fight about inflation right now. This is what we got to fight about inflation. He doesn't make no sense, Pennsylvania. Did you hear the lady say, I want to hear him talk clear? What if he got to argue the point with another senator or somebody about a bill or something like that? You think he gonna argue and get the point across when he talking like this and he can't remember what the fuck he talking about? He need paper and he reading two things at the same time and missing words and all kind of shit. You think he honestly gonna be able to get a bill across? Are they gonna respect his ass or even understand what the fuck he talking about? No, Pennsylvania.
You know, right now, because it's a tax on working families.
Good looking now.
And Dr. Oz can't possibly understand what that is like.
Chris Kelly understand what being broke is like. Chris Kelly done gave a nigga a donation. Chris Kelly, good looking on the donation. Chris Kelly, you just like Fetterman, you understand. You feel my pain. You know what I'm saying? Chris Kelly feel my pain. If you feel my pain, be like Chris Kelly and feel my pain. Because evidently Fetterman can't do it. And I'm in California. Newsom damn sure don't feel my pain because I ain't transsexual, I ain't gay, I ain't a migrant, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't no damn liberal. So Governor Newsom damn sure ain't feeling my damn pain right now. Damn Governor Newsom.
So if he needs that assistance now, I think that it's a genuine ability to work through a disability that he's having today.
You know, he has 10 gigantic mansions. You know, we must push back against corporate greed. We must make sure that we're also pushing back against price gouging as well, too.
Who the fuck is they? Don't you mean you? We must also make sure that they're pushing back on price gouging, too. Who the fuck is they? And who is price gouging, right? All these Democrats say it's price gouging. Ain't this a law for that? Shouldn't y'all should have been with that? Y'all been hollering price gouging for a year. Joe Biden was saying that shit at the beginning of the year. Y'all still ain't caught the motherfuckers who been price gouging yet? When y'all gonna catch them? When y'all gonna hire a price gouging squad? Y'all got a border czar and all of those shit. Y'all need a price gouging czar or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had a disinformation czar. Y'all had a border czar. Y'all had a gay czar. Y'all had all kind of czar. Why don't you motherfucker get a price gouging czar for the bread and chicken and meat and gas and shit to run around, especially the weed in 40 ounces? Huh? Why don't y'all get one of them motherfuckers? Y'all always talking about, what y'all trying to do? Price gouge. We don't want to raise prices. Don't raise the prices. Don't do it now in the price in the pandemic. Why they gonna do it outside of a pandemic? They ain't never supposed to price gouge. Well, they supposed to price gouge when it ain't no pandemic? It ain't no pandemic. We for the price gouge. But when it is one, we not gonna price gouge. We gonna go right by the book. They're gonna price gouge. They're gonna price gouge. They don't give a fuck about no damn panoramic. That's why I started calling it panoramic. They don't give a damn about no panoramic.
Will he need it next month, 6 months, forever?
Be able to make more in Pennsylvania, make more in America. When he had a choice to make his merchandise, the Oz label is on, he made it all in China.
The Oz label is on. He made it all in China. Like this lady said, how long is it going to take? A year? 6 months? 7 months? How long is it going to take before your ass get normal, before your ass be able to debate again? Huh? Because what happens when it gets to 2024 and your ass has still got these same old brain functions and miscalculations and still speaking the same way and you fucked up and it comes around in 2024, right? And it's a new president up in there, right? And then your dumb ass, you can't vote, you can't understand what the hell is going on because your brain is messed up, and then whoever picked your ass got to do 4 more years before they can put another senator in. They got to deal with your ass for the 2 years, and Joe Biden's office, they got to deal with your ass 4 more years when somebody I ain't gonna say is in office. Huh? You think Pennsylvania gonna be able to deal with that? Huh? You voted 100% with Joe Biden, and you probably gonna vote 0 with Donald Trump. You think the world gonna be able to do that? 2 more years of all Joe Biden policies and 4 more years of trying to knock Donald Trump's down? Because all you is a fucking puppet. You voted for Joe Biden shit 100% of the time. You was a puppet. You gonna do what the fuck the left tell you to do.
I don't know.
The one thing that I got to say that you did say is you don't know if he's going to need that 6 months from now or the rest of his life, and neither do we, and neither do his doctors.
Huh? Do you hear that? They don't know if you're going to need that for 6 months or the rest of your life. How long do you need it? Did the doctor tell, he said he's able to work, but did the doctor say how long he's going to be needing this closed caption and shit? How long he's not going to be able to read or complete these sentences and shit, right? Because is he a brain doctor? What kind of doctor? Is he a medical doctor? Is he a brain doctor? Right? Because when was the last time you saw a fucking medical doctor give brain doctor advice? No, you supposed to check heartbeats and colds and all this other shit. You supposed to, you know what I'm saying? If I had a heart attack, you supposed to check my vital signs, give me, you know what I'm saying, all this other shit. But whenever I go into that x-ray machine and shit, that's a whole different department. I got to go to a brain specialist to know if something happened in my brain. You can tell me this, you can tell me that. It's scoring, it's tissue. You can tell me shit what happened with the x-rays and shit. But I got to go to a brain expert to tell me if it's any permanent damage, right? That's something out of your field, baby. That's a whole different hospital. And then when I get my diagnosis, I come back to your ass, you know what I'm saying? And then you tell me what treatments I take. Take this, take that. We're going to set you up with an operation. We're going to do this. We're going to take that. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. That's your job. But to find out the diagnosis for the brain operation, nigga, or the brain function, or the brain damage, nigga, that is not your job.
At this point.
You know, who can you believe that can fight against inflation and pushing back against corporate greed, or somebody that is choosing working in China versus over American workers?
What? He working in China? Nigga, when did Oz work in China, nigga, and over American workers, nigga? You mean he had jobs over there in China over American workers? Nigga, what job? Oh, have jobs over there in China workers. He don't look. Fuck putting two sentences together, right? He putting one part of the sentence in the beginning and the beginning in the end. He said he missing one word and putting two words together. What about you turning whole sentences completely backwards? This nigga's crazy. Pennsylvania, you on the clock.
Well, I've been trying to talk about policy issues with the people of Pennsylvania. As a doctor, I listen to their ideas and I want to talk about them. When John Fetterman brings up houses, the irony is he didn't pay for his own house. He got it for $1 from his sister, and he hasn't been able to earn a living on his own. He's lived off his parents. So it's not a topic that we should be debating on the stage. We should be talking about crime.
Especially when your ass ain't got no house. And the only thing he can say is Dr. Oz has 10 houses. Well, hell, he earned his 10 houses. Right? It's lots of people got multiple houses, right? I mean, he was an entertainer. He was a doctor. He's a successful businessman, right? He supposed to have one house? Hell, he probably got a house in LA for certain things. He probably got a house in New York for certain things. He probably got a house in Texas for certain things. He probably got a house in different places, in Martha Vineyard, whatever the fuck he may have, right? He got them from different things. If I had money, I'd buy 4 or 5 houses too. See, there's lots of celebrities got 4 or 5 houses, right? If you can afford it, you can afford it. That's the sign of his success. Don't be mad because you had to buy a house from your sister for a fucking $1, right? And then you and your family running around buying up property in fucking Braddock, right? And scamming the people of Braddock, right? Don't get mad at Dr. Oz for being a successful businessman,
and inflation, the issues that are hurting Pennsylvanians that they're talking about at their kitchen table.
Follow up. In an op-ed for the Wilkes-Barre Times Leader, you wrote, quote, "It is time we crack down on the big price gouging corporations that are making record profits while jacking up prices for all of us." How do you plan to do this, sir? You mentioned going after price gouging corporations. How do you plan to do this? You have 30 seconds.
Give that nigga an hour. You still wouldn't be able to understand what the hell he's about to say.
Exactly. We have to keep pushing back on that. And he would never make that choice to fight for families here in Pennsylvania.
Correct.
That nigga finna say America. You could have said America, right? You could have said, because when you're in the Senate, you're not just fighting for Pennsylvania, right? You're doing what's best for Pennsylvania, but you also, right, responsible for the whole damn country, right? Because you also voting in policies or vetoing policies that can affect the whole country, right? You do policies for Pennsylvania, but you do votes for America. So you could have said America, you dumb son of a bitch.
That's the sad part, and that's why I think somebody should have stepped in and said, "Hey, this just isn't the right time, John. In a year, in 6 years from now, and believe me, I'm not saying anything for them. I think them parading him out there is a sore eye for the Democratic Party."
Hell yeah, it's a sore eye for the Democratic Party when you putting the retard out there. You could have told him, or put somebody else up. This the best y'all have to run for Philadelphia, a dude that won the primary inside of the damn hospital and was talking right. Look at his interview when he was in the hospital, him and his wife, and they was talking right. Yeah, I had a little spillover. Me and my wife came down here. He was talking clear as shit. You mean to tell me 7 months later his shit done got worse? His shit is worse now than it was when he first done an interview, right? Or when he first was getting on stage. His shit is getting worse, right? It's not getting better.
He has never met an oil company that he doesn't swipe right about.
What the fuck is swipe right about? What does that mean? Is that some kind of news quote, a new saying? Because I missed that. Swipe right. Go ahead and swipe right. What kind of shit is that? What you say? Nigga, you better leave me alone. You better swipe right. Girl, swipe right. Hey, my nigga. Hey, swipe right. What the fuck is swipe right? Is that I don't even know what swipe right means. That don't even sound right.
Sometimes you're not choosing between like your favorite thing ever and something else. But is that a concern? Absolutely.
He has never been able to stand up for working families all across Pennsylvania. We must push back. Inflation has hurt Americans and Pennsylvania's families, and it has given the oil companies record profits.
Yeah, I hope
that's a Joe Biden point.
That that's the only thing affected by his brain.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fetterman. Turning to the next issue, Dennis.
The minimum wage in Pennsylvania and at the national level currently sits at $7.25 an hour and has not been increased since 2009. Each of our neighboring states has raised minimum wages. You see them there on your screen, including New Jersey at $13 an hour and West Virginia at $8.75. But Pennsylvania has not followed suit. The first question is for you, Mr. Fetterman. Do you support raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour? Why or why not? You have 60 seconds.
Give him 15 more seconds to read the damn clock. Do you believe it, Fetterman? Of course he believes. He's a liberal.
And I think it would be comforting to have a doctor say, we've tested him. If there was even a way to measure that. Like, this is where his brain was affected, and it's not going to affect his ability to,
Yeah.
That's because he didn't go to a brain doctor. Everybody keep on saying, we want to hear his medical report. We want to hear that. His medical doctor say, oh, he's doing good. He can run perfectly fine. Yeah, his physical body with your ass checked, but not his mental. We need to find out about his mental, doc. Give us that mental medical paperwork.
I do, absolutely. I think it's a disgrace at $7.25 an hour. And how can a man, with 10 gigantic mansions, has unwilling to talk about a willing wage for anybody? Imagine a single mom trying with 2 children.
What the fuck is a signal mom, right? A signal mom, I guess that's a new mom. You got birthing parents and you got signal moms, right? You mean you can't even say look, think about this. He can't even pronounce the word single. He says signal. Did he read that? Is he reading signal? Right? Because remember, this is closed captioning. Closed captioning means words. Is he trying to read the teleprompter that says signal and he meant to say single? Think about it. It's closed captioning. It's words on the board. This nigga says signal instead of single.
Children trying to raise with them, realizing making $31,000 a year, $15 an hour. I believe every work has dignity, and every paycheck must have dignity in it as well.
Every work has dignity, right? Every work has dignity in it. right? And every worker has dignity. I mean, in every paycheck, you could. I mean, you mixing up the whole word. Every work has dignity. Every job. I mean, I know what you're trying to say, but you done fucked me up so bad. I don't even know how to say it now. But it's every worker supposed to have dignity. Joe Biden say his daddy tell him that shit all the time.
True. I've always supported a living wage, and we make sure that everyone has economic security.
Participate in, but even then, like, it's so late in the process.
I have a follow-up for you, Mr. Fetterman. What do you say to small business owners who have told us that if the minimum wage were increased to $15 an hour, it would put them out of business? You have 30 seconds.
And I'm not a one, I don't remember what you called it, but like, I'm only caring about abortion.
A one-horse pony.
No, we all have to make sure that everyone that works is able to, that's the most American bargain.
What? Everyone that has to work, that's the American bargain. Did you read that on the teleprompter? Was that on the closed captioning? Right? Everybody wants, that is the American bargain. Who in the fuck? I heard of American Dream.
If you work full-time, you should be able to live in dignity as well. True.
As well, true. If you work, you should be able to live in dignity as well, true. What is true as well, right? I mean, is he reading the words backwards? This is closed captioning. I was tripping on how he was reading the words backwards earlier, right? I'm like, why is he making these sentences backwards? Now I understand. He reading the fucking words backwards. Look when he messes up, right? I guess he can freestyle some of the shit, but look when the closed captioning comes up, right? That's when he fuck up and read shit backwards. Look at it.
So what about the scenario that his health does get worse?
And I believe they haven't have any businesses being you can't have businesses being subsidized by not paying individuals that just simply can't afford to pay their own way.
And another big issue for voters is abortion. Mr. Oz, we will begin.
To pay their own way, right? He started speaking up, right? You see he talked slow, right? And the ad-lib or something right at the beginning of the sentence, right? And then the closed captioning come up, and then they say some shit, right? Right? And then they fuck up at the end because he loses track on how to talk or how to read the fucking closed captioning.
With you. You say that you're pro-life, but you do support abortion exceptions in the cases of rape, incest, and to protect the life of the mother. Aside from those three exceptions, should abortion be banned in America?
Now, ironically, John Fetterman has been running ads on this topic, dishonest ads. I need to correct the record. They were so bad, they got pulled off television stations.
Yeah, how the hell how the fuck is your ads gonna get pulled off a liberal station? That meant there must have been some hell of an ads, right? If you're a liberal and you going against a conservative in a Senate race that they need, and you make a commercial that's so damn devious and full of lies that they gotta snatch it off the air, that must have been a hell of a commercial.
I've got, even on this station, he was running dishonest ads that I had pulled off. I haven't had a single ad pulled down. My ads tell the truth. John Fetterman's are a fiction of his imagination.
Roe v. Wade, for me, should be the law. He celebrated when Roe v. Wade went down, and my campaign would fight for Roe v. Wade, and if given the opportunity to codify it into law.
Thank you, Mr. Oz.
Oz rule.
Mr. Fetterman, 15
I
seconds.
absolutely support fracking. In fact, I live across the street from a steel mill.
Is that the house you bought from your sister, right? Or did you buy the house just so you can say, I stay across the street from the steel mill, right? Why you ain't supporting fracking in your own damn state? Why you ain't supporting independent energy and all of those shit, right? Why you ain't promoting none of that? Right? Energy independence, right? Why you ain't promoting none of that? Right? I'm for fracking. I'm from this. Well, if you for that, you wouldn't have voted 100% of the time with Joe Biden, because Joe Biden ain't with none of it.
And they were going to frack to create their own energy in order to make them more competitive. And I support that, living closer to anybody else in Pennsylvania, for fracking to myself. I believe that...
For fracking to yourself. What? The hell was you trying to say? For fracking to myself. Right? That don't even make sense. Where is he reading these words at? He not only, look, the words are not commuting with his head. He's trying to read the words, right? And he's trying to, right? He's doing two things. He's trying to read the word, right? And when he read the word, he fuck up and misspell. Or when he tried to read a sentence, right? And then he tried to translate, because when you do these type of shows and stuff like that, right? You have a teleprompter in front of you, right? You don't supposed to read it word by word, right? You're supposed to read the catchphrases in it, and they're supposed to remind you of what you're supposed to say, and you're supposed to go on about that shit, right? If it say this and that, it keep going on, right? It keep going up and up, and you see the words up under that. So you say that, you know what I'm saying, kind of word for word, but you still ad lib, right? Because you don't want to be looking at the camera the whole fucking time. Right? So when this nigga look at the camera, he fuck up. And when he try to ad lib, we try to remember what the fucking closed caption is said, and then he fuck up again.
That we need independence with energy, and I believe I've walked that line my entire career. I believe Democrats...
Mr. Fetterman, I do have a specific question which you can continue on this topic, but you have made two conflicting statements regarding fracking. In a 2000...
other words, your ass was lying. You got caught in a lie. Fact checker.
2018 interview, you said, quote, "I don't support fracking at all. I never have." But earlier this month, you told an interviewer, quote, "I support fracking. I support the energy independence that we should have here in the United States." So, Mr. Fetterman, please explain your changing position. 60 seconds.
I would have said, bitch, ask Joe Biden about his changing position, right? He was not for fracking. Then he was for fracking in the debate. Then his ass won the presidency, right? And his ass not for fracking now. So you ask Joe Biden, bitch, not me.
I've always supported fracking, and I always believe that independence with our energy is critical, and we can't be held, ransom to somebody like Russia. I've always believed that energy independence is critical, and I've always believed that, and I do support fracking. I've never taken any money from their industry, but I support how critical it is that we produce our own energy and create energy independence.
Did you see? I mean, let me go back to that. Look how he's reading it, right? Look how he's. Hold on. Look how he's reading the closed caption, right? You can see him actually reading the closed captioning, right? Oh, my bad. You can see him reading the closed captioning. Look at this, right? Look at his eyes.
And
look at his eyes. He's reading the closed captioning right now, right? His eyes on the closed caption. That's why he's fucking up trying to read. Look.
And create energy independence.
I must correct the record.
Just a second, Mr. Oz. I do want to clarify something. You're saying tonight that you support fracking, that you've always supported fracking, but there is that 2018 interview that you said, quote, "I don't support fracking at all." So how do you square the two?
Look, they asked him something that ain't on the teleprompter that fast.
I do support fracking.
Look, now it came back on. Look, you see that long ass pause, right? He wasn't on the teleprompter. Look at this.
Fracking at all. So how do you square the two?
Look, he don't know what the fuck to do. He don't know what to do, right? Because they asked him a rebuttal question that he wasn't ready for, so he had to wait for the closed caption to come up. Remember, this is not his ideas. This is whoever feeding him these ideas on what to say. These are not his ideas. Remember, this is a closed caption, y'all. So I need to see the words. Right?
I do support fracking, and
look.
I support fracking, and I stand, and I do support fracking.
I do.
I support fracking, and I stand to support fracking, and I do support. I mean, that's when on that part right there, I feel sorry for him. Like, damn, he is really fucked up. He is really fucked up. So I even do this video because this dude is really fucked up. Right? Anytime you say that's all you can say is I support fracking, I stand behind fracking, and I support fracking. You be like, this nigga is fucked up. I'm sorry to say, but this nigga right here is fucked up.
That's my
wife in.
concern.
I having had my own paralysis, and like they had to see if I had a stroke, like this thought of he can get better, that's what I don't know, because strokes are not like a cold, they affect your brain.
We want to now turn to public safety. Mr. Fetterman, Republicans have called you dangerously soft on crime. The Pennsylvania State Troopers Association has endorsed Democrat Josh Shapiro for governor. But in this race, it endorsed your Republican opponent, Mr. Oz.
That's a damn shame when your own party don't even stick with you. They're like, you know what? I'm going to support a Republican. Think about this. You know how divisive the Democratic Party is, right? You know how one-sided the Democratic Party is. You know how partisan the Democratic Party is. You know how much bad the Democratic Party hate the Republicans, right? But this son of a bitch right here said, damn, right? Damn, the Democrat, his policy is so fucking bad, I'm gonna cross the aisle and support the whole different other party. Right? That lets you know how radical this shit is.
There were a lot of officers taking this man into custody.
This is going down in Pennsylvania. This is the type of shit that's going down in Pennsylvania, right? Under John Fetterman, whatever his damn name is, right, is the police shortage, right? The police can't do their job, so what the police do, they got to get other police forces, other police stations, other police divisions to come out and help them with the crime in Pennsylvania, because guess what? Mr. Fetterman neglected the police.
Monday night, only Skyforce 10 captured this arrest after that chase weaved through the streets of West Philadelphia and right through an apartment complex. Tonight, NBC 10 has learned a team involving state troopers and Philadelphia police were involved in ending the getaway.
It's something they did in the 90s. They're doing again. So the state police, it's called Trigger Lock. We're looking for help anywhere we can get it.
What is your response to those endorsements? And what is your response to accusations that you are, quote, dangerously soft on crime?
If the police is hiring state troopers, right, because they can't fill the police cars, right, and they got to hire state troopers, right, which means the state troopers can't do their job, which means drugs is going to pour through the border because they're supposed to be protecting the border and the freeways and the highways and the stateways and all that other shit. They can't do their job. Guess what? More fentanyl inside of Pennsylvania, inside of Zombie Town, because they took the state troopers that protect the roads off the motherfucking highway. And guess what they got to do? They got to help with high-speed chases, drug busts, drug arrests, gang murders, and all kind of shit. You done took the state troopers, right? And this is all because of Fetterman. You are the attorney, whatever, district attorney general, whatever the fuck you is, right? Your ass have an obligation. This is part of your job, and you failed at it miserably.
60 seconds.
Operation Trigger Lock is a joint program between Philadelphia Police and Pennsylvania State Police. It means you'll see troopers and officers riding in one car together as they patrol high crime areas in the city.
Now, I believe that I run on my record on crime. You know, I ran to be mayor back in 2005 in order to fight gun violence, and that's exactly what I did. And working with the police and working with our community, I was able to stop gun violence for 5.5 years as mayor.
PPD Commissioner Danielle Outlaw stating this move, quote, will serve as an invaluable partner and force multiplier amid surging violence and a shortage in officers.
It's a good start. I mean, we can see how it works out. You know, it's hard to it's crime. It's hard.
It's crime. It's hard in Pennsylvania thanks to the policies, right, of all these liberals. Thanks to the policies of people like John Fetterman who want to let out the criminals, no cash bails and shit like that. Then you have to hire state troopers to come out and help the regular police arrest people. That's what happens when you defund the police. You can also, I'll defund the police. If you wanted to fund this video, I'm not defund the video. You want to fund this video, go ahead and leave a donation in the Snapchat or the whatever the hell you call it, or a donation on PayPal or Cash App. Let's get it.
I think it's a community thing.
Homeowners and parents in the area where Monday's chase happened, rooting for the program's success.
I'm just applauding the effort that they're using right now. Just showing us that somebody cares in the neighborhood and they want to see the area policed a lot better than what it has been.
Ever accomplished before or since my time as mayor, because I'm the only person on this stage right now that was successful about pushing back against gun violence and being the community more safe.
That's because Dr. Oz was too busy pushing hearts back in people's chests and dealing with brains and all kind of shit, high blood pressures and TV shows and shit like that. Remember, he wasn't a politician. You was. You have a record to run on. He don't, right? So you don't know what the fuck he done, but we know what the fuck you done, right? And from what the fuck you done, we know what your ass plan to do.
Crime in the Philadelphia suburbs is completely out of control, and Fetterman has a record on the Board of Paroles that has been soft on crime. And Mehmet Oz, in a debate this week, will focus on this.
Soft on crime. Fetterman, soft on crime. Philadelphia know it. Huh? Philadelphia know it. Pennsylvania know it. Pittsburgh know it. They all know where all the niggas at. All the niggas know. Braddock know it. All of them know that your ass is soft on crime.
All he's done is just put a plan up on his website in the last 24 hours. He has no experience. He has never made any attempt to try to address crime.
How in the fuck is he gonna try to address crime and he ain't never been a politician, huh? He done it on the show. He done it in his advocacy. That's the best he can do. What the fuck? He wasn't no politician. He couldn't make no laws. Oh, he ain't never thought of before. He don't have no history and pass no laws. Well, you got to get in the goddamn Congress or the Senate to be able to pass the damn law. So give him opportunity to pass a law.
During his entire career, except showing up for photo ops here in Philadelphia.
And thriving.
Have you ever dealt with a salesman that just
history? It's too soft on crime.
Violence skyrocketed in Braddock. I mean, the town wasn't in a good shape when John got there. It got worse when he was there.
He's another guy who, as far as I can tell, he's never really worked for a living, and that's always a big issue for me.
People kept leaving, so of course you're going to have all kinds of aberrations. But John, the city was dangerous under your leadership, and that's why
I want to turn to you now. Under Fetterman, the population dropped 40%.
Huh? Under Fetterman, the population dropped 40%. Fetterman bragging on his job as a mayor, but he didn't really do a good job. If the population under Fetterman dropped by 40%, that's not no good job. When the fuck is that a good job at? That's worse than Governor Newsom, right? The population, that's almost half the people in Braddock left under Mr. Fetterman. Almost half? Think about it. Almost half the people, 40% of the people left, said, fuck it. I'm out of here.
Not true.
Well, I'm not as concerned about his health as his policies and history. It's too soft on crime.
Violence skyrocketed in Braddock. I mean, the town wasn't in a good shape when John got there. It got worse when he was there.
He's another guy who, as far as I can tell, he's never really worked for a living, and that's always a big issue for me.
People kept leaving, so of course you're going to have all kinds of aberrations. But John, the city was dangerous under your leadership, and that's why
I want to turn to you now. Under Fetterman, the population dropped 40% to just 1,700 people.
Happening now, but part of the problem is that we have taken away the ability of police to do their job, and that's on John Fetterman.
That's what it was. I thought it was 17,000. It was 1,700 people. Think about this. It's more people that stay on my block than stay in John Fetterman whole city. Huh? It's 1,700 people stay on my block, at least, at a minimum, right? It's at least 1,000 people stay in one apartment on this motherfucking block, right? Right? And you mean to tell me he was a mayor, right? And he's bragging on being a mayor of 1,700 people, and on top of that 1,700 people, 1,400 of them left, right? And you want to talk about the job you did with 1,700 people? That's not even 2,000 people. It's more. Look, it's more Hispanics cross the border than that every fucking day, right? You had control of one migrant caravan to America. You have that. You have the power of that, right? You didn't even have more citizens than the Haitians had under the bridge, right? The Haitians had more citizens under the bridge, right, than you had in your whole fucking city. But this is what you want to brag on?
Because John Fetterman has taken such a harsh position against them. He's undermined them at every level, taken away some of their funding. He's pushed for Krasner, who he admires tremendously, and he's spoken highly of him just this week. He's taken his policies to a new extreme.
The poverty rate increased, and the number of violent crime incidents actually went up.
On to our next issue, and that is illegal immigration. It has been a problem in the United States for decades, but it is now spiking. U.S. Customs and Border Protection just released numbers from fiscal year 2022. They show more than 2.7 million total enforcement actions in the U.S.
When he ran for mayor, it was all hopes, he'd bring it back. But I think he just used it as a stepping stone.
I understand what legal immigration offers us, but the completely porous, open nature of our border, which John Fetterman supports, has created a humanitarian crisis with cartels profiting with human trafficking operations. They take the money, they buy narcotics from China. And bring that into our country, and it's making every state a border state. Pennsylvania is already a border state because we're top 3 in the country in fentanyl overdoses.
And when he come to Braddock, I think he assumed that the mayor's position was the same as it was in the city of Pittsburgh, which it isn't.
This is how the citizens talk about the king of Braddock, right? He talking about how I changed Braddock, right? It's 1,700 people in Braddock, right? And ain't nobody got nothing good to say about your ass. How you change the stuff in Braddock and don't nobody say nothing good about your ass? Huh? That's like me ain't been in my son's life and he talking about, I got the best dad in the world. He the best dad. He take me here, he take me there, and I ain't saw the nigga ever. Huh? That'd be something like that. Right? You ain't never around, but you want to take all the credit, right? That's like when your son go to the NBA, you be like, yeah, I raised my son to be right. You know what I'm saying? I raised my son the right way. Your ass ain't never been around. Don't take credit for some shit you ain't done.
Which it isn't.
He didn't really turn Braddock around. He bought property for himself, which he's profiting from.
Huh? Did you hear that? His family is rich, right? His family is buying property up in Braddock. Remember, Braddock is not a big town. It's not a big town, right? It's a small town of 1,700 people. Why is you buying up the property? Huh? Think about this. All the population left, over half the population, 40% of the population left, deserted, got their shit up and left, gone, right? Guess who buying them people houses? The fucking Fetterman family. His rich mother, his rich sister, the one that sold him a house for $1. They buying the properties. Huh?
So
he stopped coming to meetings,
Stop
coming to council meetings, which he Should have been at all council meetings to break a tie in case there was a tie, or if he had some input. He could put the input in, but he didn't do that.
Lisa, I can't go anywhere and giving a big event where I don't meet multiple people who say their personal lives have been destroyed because of fentanyl overdose. So you would.
He wouldn't know about a fentanyl overdose because he ain't nowhere around, right? He talking about how he built up the community. Well, look how the businesses talk about their old mayor, right, and what he did for the community.
I think as the mayor, you would go out and reach out to the local businesses and say, I'm the mayor. If anything I can do to help, let me know. That never happened.
So what I've seen since he's been here, he got credit for everything. Everything that's happened in this community, he's got credit for it.
He made sure he got credit for everything. He getting on the debate stage said he got credit for it, right? He getting on the front of the news saying he got credit for it, right? He telling everybody that listen, he got credit for chasing around Braddock. But guess what? The people of Braddock say that's a lie. So who you gonna believe? John Fetterman lying ass or the people of Braddock?
The renaissance of Braddock coming back, it never did happen. I mean, just like, how many vacant buildings we have here?
The people believe that all this has come about through John Fetterman, and it's not true.
Yet John Fetterman not only wants an open border, not only supports sanctuary cities, but he wants to legalize all hard drugs in America.
All hard drugs in America and fentanyl. And we all know the dangers of fentanyl too, right? You don't have to be on fentanyl to die from fentanyl. You can be around fentanyl, right? So John Fetterman want to legalize fentanyl, want open drug dens, right? Where you can open safe spots, injection spots, right? He want to make drugs legal. Don't put no law on it, right? Go to jail and all kind of shit. Smoke and shoot up in the middle of the fucking street, right? Without any kind of persecution or nothing, right? And we all know how dangerous fentanyl is for everybody that's involved, even the police.
Including narcotics.
Of even the smallest touch of fentanyl shown in this video. Watch as a Bartlesville police officer wearing protective gloves is packing up drug evidence believed to be laced with fentanyl when he slowly starts to collapse.
Becoming ill, lightheaded, and actually basically passed out or fell.
Seconds later, a rush of officers coming to the rescue.
I don't know what would have happened had they not acted so quickly.
Sergeant Jim Waring says officers quickly gave him Narcan, which is believed to have saved his life. Police say this is the first time they've had to deal with something like this, where they had to give one of their own officers Narcan.
Really fortunate that one, we had this available to us, and two, that our officers really adhered to the training and paid attention to the training.
Another layer to the opioid epidemic and an eye-opening to what these men and women behind the badge have to deal with.
So the drug epidemic of fentanyl is just not deadly for the user, right? It's kids eating candy with fentanyl in that. Luckily, we ain't heard nothing about Halloween. I didn't hear nothing. I ain't saying this didn't happen. Luckily, we didn't hear no kid overdosing on no fentanyl because they think it was trick-or-treat candy during Halloween, right? But it's everybody, right? The mothers crying because their kids died. The fathers having to bury their kids. The brother walking to the room finding his older brother or his little sister dead. You know what I'm saying? It's affecting the whole family. Officers tested and searching suspects and getting whiffs of it and stuff like that, right? It even comes down to a girlfriend kissing her boyfriend on the mouth, and she got her mouth, and he could die and go into some stuff about it, right? So it's affecting everybody. But John Fetterman and the Democrats ain't doing nothing about it. They don't think it's dangerous. They want to legalize this shit. Anytime a police officer drop out from smelling this shit, right, that's a dangerous ass drug because they've been around a lot of drugs, right? They real healthy, right? But that drug is so fucking dangerous, it knocked this man on his ass, right? But the Fetterman and the Bidens and the other Democrats want to legalize it. Oh, it's nothing.
You know, even though the officer may not be physically dealing with an individual, all the evidence and things that we handle on a day-to-day basis, you know, that can harm you too.
That is I mean, out of touch with everybody. That radical position was tried in Oregon, which he endorsed, 50% homicide increase rate.
Oh, one moment. I will give a 15-second rebuttal.
Yeah, that is, again, the Oz rule. That is just not true. Here, his family's company was levied the largest fine for immigration hiring of immigrant illegals, and I think you should sit this one out about in terms of what a secure border.
You should have sat this one out, right? I mean, if your ass was smart, your ass would have sat it out. I'm glad you did the debate, but your ass should have sat this out because you sound like a little kid, or you sound like you don't have too much intelligence, right? Now, I know you're trying, but you got to read closed captioning, and your words not sticking. You're forgetting phrases, right? You're forgetting sentences, you're forgetting words, you're reading stuff backwards. This is really fucked up.
All right. We do have a follow-up specifically for you, Mr. Fetterman. Vice President Kamala Harris says...
You see this in the back? Here you go in the back. This is the closed caption in the back.
The southern border is secure, yet we are seeing an unprecedented number of migrants crossing. Is the border secure? And if not, what would you do to fix what both parties are calling a crisis? You have 60 seconds, Mr. Fetterman.
I believe that.
Look, the word's not up yet. Look, the word's not up. We're not looking at the board, right? It's not up yet.
Secure border can be compatible with compassion. I believe we need a comprehensive and bipartisan solution for immigration. That's what I believe. I don't ever recall in the Statue of Liberty did they say, take our tired, huddled masses and put them on a bus and use cheap political stunts about them. I believe we have to develop a comprehensive and bipartisan solution to address our issue here for immigration here in our nation.
He completed that whole one without looking at the damn board. He must have already had that one thought up, right? We must control, but it didn't make no damn sense. But at least he finished it without looking at the damn closed caption.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. On to the next issue.
John's not addressing the elephant in the room, fentanyl.
Fentanyl is the elephant in the room. Why we can't address that? Why we can't get on Mr. Fetterman, right, about the fentanyl crisis that's running rapid in his damn state? That would have been more important than whatever the fuck he was talking about. That shit is dangerous.
By the San Diego Sheriff. Shocking body cam video released tonight by the San Diego Sheriff's Department. It shows a deputy on the brink of death after being exposed to fentanyl. The deputy saved by his partner who was equipped with the life-saving medicine known as Narcan. We do want to warn you what you're about to see is difficult to watch.
This is what the Democrats want. This is a disclaimer, right? To what she said, this is maybe difficult to watch, right? But this is educational purposes only, right? We need to learn about the dangers and what to do when you're on fentanyl. This is an educational video. And if you want to send that donation, go ahead and send a nigga a donation.
I need Narcan. I got you. Dramatic body cam video capturing the moment Corporal Scott Crane of the San Diego County Sheriff's Department is promising his trainee, Deputy David Five-Eye, he's not going to let him die after Five-Eye was exposed to fentanyl while processing drugs at the scene of an arrest in early July. That discovery caught on Five-Eye's own body cam just minutes earlier.
Yeah, it's a powder.
It could be cocaine or fentanyl. It tested positive for fentanyl.
The synthetic opioid is 50 times more potent than heroin, and exposure to just a few small grains can have deadly consequences. And
to any damn body, they don't give a damn who you is. The police, bodybuilders, Navy SEAL, wrestler, football player, anybody can get it.
In Five-Eye's case, the exposure and his reaction to it was almost instant.
A couple seconds later, he took some steps back and he collapsed. I ran over to him and I grabbed him and he was ODing.
Corporal Crane was equipped with the nasal spray Narcan, a prescription medicine that rapidly reverses the effects of an overdose. Still, Five-Eye needed more. Here he is, in his own words, still emotional.
My lungs just locked up. I couldn't breathe. I was trying to gasp for breath, but I couldn't breathe at all.
The most deadliest drug that ever hit the American market, right? Did you hear? It's 50 times more potent than heroin, right? I mean, crystal meth not even in the conversation, right? Acid, PCP, none of that shit, right? It hallucinating, all kind of other stuff. It make you hurt yourself, right? But this drug right here is the most dangerous drug. Who sent that donation? James Touche. Fetterman lives in his mother's basement. He probably do. He look like one of them motherfuckers live in the basement. We fuck with people on the internet, eating Oreo cookies and ice cream and jacking off in his boxers with that big ass bump on the back of his neck, right? He look like that with a gang of blow up dolls in it. Don't he like he got some blow up dolls, James? That nigga's a freak, right? But Fetterman, right, ain't doing nothing about this opioid crisis, James. Nothing, James. Right, and it's getting bad because not only is innocent people dying, not only kids are dying. Right now, you have police getting injured. Now you also have police this passing out and knocking themselves unconscious with this old drug right here. This shit is dangerous, James.
Bye-bye, you okay? Talk to me. Oh, no. Don't be sorry. You're okay. Don't be sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about. I got you, okay? I'm not going to let you die.
Deputy Five Eye taken by ambulance, overdosing again and again on his way to the hospital. But without his partner and that Narcan, he knows he would have been just another statistic in this country's deadly drug overdose epidemic.
Overdosing again and again. A grown man in LA. Think about this. If it can happen to him, it damn sure can happen to you.
I'm Deputy David Five Eye, and I almost died of a fentanyl overdose.
We have to move.
Somebody should tell that shit to John Fetterman on how deadly that shit is. Evidently, he don't fucking know.
Move on to the next issue. We will be circling back on that.
Turning now to foreign policy. Mr. Fetterman, what do you believe is the greatest foreign threat to the United States of America? You have 60 seconds.
Give a nigga 2 minutes so we can laugh.
I believe, you know.
Look, he got to look at the board. They ain't putting up the words fast enough.
Is right now is China. I believe China is not our friend, and I believe that we can't be able to push back, and we need to stand against China. And I believe that Dr. Oz has chosen to manufacture all of his merchandise on his name on it in China. Which one of us on this stage is going to stand up against and stand firm against China? You know. And I believe that's our single biggest issue right now, to make sure that we address China. And
is this nigga doing word salad too? Right? To address China, our biggest is China. He won't do nothing for China, right? And every time we say China, he got to get that word out. China.
Make sure that we know that it's not our friend.
John Fetterman, however, cannot go to Washington and work with the other side because he doesn't even get along with his own side. He criticized Joe Biden for not spending enough money and not sidling up close enough to Bernie Sanders. He says he won't work with Joe Manchin. He said, if you like Joe Manchin, don't vote for me.
Good, right? That's when Joe Manchin was not signing the so-called rescue package for the reduction act, right? Inflation Reduction Act, right? That's when he wasn't doing that. He turned on them, right? He don't mess with no Republicans, right? So he messing up people on both sides. He said Joe Biden wasn't spending enough money with the trillions of dollars. He wanted more money.
So if you're picking fights with your own party, you're not going to be able to reach across the aisle to the other side. Speaking about that topic, there's one person on this stage who's broken the law, we believe. John Fetterman took a shotgun, chased...
We believe my ass. That nigga did break a law. It's not no we believe. John Fetterman did break the law because his ass is racist.
...an unarmed African-American man and put the gun, apparently, according to that man, to his chest.
Gun under the back seat of my truck, which I pulled out and I showed to just say, look, we're going to wait here and we're going to get this all sorted out when the police arrive.
John, you weren't pulled over by the police. They let you go. You were the mayor at the time. Why haven't you apologized to that unarmed, innocent black man who you put a shotgun to his chest?
Because John Fetterman said he don't apologize, right? He don't apologize. That dude is just a black man. He don't have to stoop down to that dude level and apologize to him.
The Uris and the mayor tell very different stories. He says Fetterman followed me into North Braddock and pulled a shotgun and aimed it at my chest.
Everybody in Braddock, an overwhelming majority community of black community, all understood what happened.
Did you point the shotgun at him?
No, I did not. I pointed it, a way so that he would see that I was armed, but I did not point it at him. In fact, I didn't even have a round chambered or remove the safety.
Well, the black dude say something different, and I kind of believe the victim, not because he black, but because your ass a liar and the story just don't add up.
At that point,
they understood what happened, and everybody agreed that, and nobody believes that it was anything about me making a split-second decision to defend our community as well.
So you saying the black man is lying on you, right? The black man thought it was racial profiling on how you handled the situation, so we just gonna say the black man was lying, just like a damn racist.
Oh, why not apologize?
Nieres says that's not true. The police tried to laugh it off.
I mean, there's a mayor with a shotgun and 6 other cops surrounded me. What else can I do but this?
I believe I did the right thing, but I may have broken the law during the course of it, and I'm certainly not above the law if I did.
I don't like the hell it is. You're a Democrat. That means your ass is above the law, right? You above the law. I certainly broke the law, right? But on top of that, right? On top of his mental health, right? And him not being able to speak, right? You got his wife running around doing tours about how sensitive and how people picking on him, how angry she is that people was pointing out the obvious, right? Now, when you are not able to point out the obvious no more, when you're not able to criticize no more, when you're not able to ask people, can you do the job, or are you able to do the job no more, right? That becomes a communist country. That's the country we want to be in when somebody got all our rights. Now, he got to send his wife out there to get mad and hold these news conferences and blame people because guess what? He's not that intelligent, right? But his wife is. Watch this.
Saying rage, because I think that's a really unhealthy feeling, and when you feel those things, it only harms yourself. But I just, what a disservice that she did to not only my husband, but to anyone facing a disability.
Anyone suffering a disability. You see that? A disservice. They're talking about the reporter that's exposed, right, Fetterman for the truth, right? Now she speak out. Guess what? Didn't social media speak out? Same thing as a Kanye West. Once one of these liberals speak out, they got a voice, and somebody hop on the bandwagon and shit like that, whatever they going after is going down. It's going down in the DM.
And working through it. And I don't know how there were not consequences, right?
Mr. Oz, please. We are still with Mr. Fetterman. Turning to you right now, you support a Biden run. Do you support a Biden run in 2024? Why in 60 seconds?
That's honestly, it's up to his choice whether he, and if he does choose to run, I would absolutely support him. But ultimately, that's ultimately only his choice.
Damn, he the only one said it. Remember, everybody else like, you know what? I do not think about Joe Biden. I'm thinking about right here. I'm going to report any candidate that comes up. They're like, okay, well, would you support Joe Biden? I will support anybody. Well, go ahead and say, yeah, I won't say that. I'm thinking about right now. Well, at least his ass said it, and your ass going to lose on that too. Pennsylvania don't like that shit.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fetterman. A follow-up question on this. Our Next Star poll shows 51% of Pennsylvania voters disapprove of the president's job performance. You have publicly supported many of his policy positions. Are there any that you disagree with? 30 seconds.
I mean, there are consequences for folks in these positions who are any of the isms. I mean, she was ableist, and that's what she was in her interview. It was appalling to the entire disability community.
This bitch is appalling. Look how this nigga stuck. This bitch is appalling. Answering her husband questions and taking up for him like his ass is a sick ass kid or something.
No, I just believe he needs to do more about.
Look, he can't even comprehend that. He wasn't even ready for that question. Like, let me think. Pennsylvania, he's not even been able to think properly yet.
Supporting and fighting about inflation. And I do believe he can do more about that. But at the end of the day, I think Joe Biden is a good family man. And what
the hell that got to do with anything, right? He the only person on here talking about Joe Biden in a good way, right? right? He got a family, man. He let his son marry his damn dead brother wife. He got a daughter that he used to take showers with, right? What the hell you mean he got a good family? He got another son with his niece, damn pictures, damn near half naked in a damn laptop. How is he a good family man? Google me that.
I believe he stands for the union way of life, and I believe that unemployment is already down to the lowest level in the last 50 years.
Many Americans are worried that they will never receive their full benefit or have to accept cuts to their benefits. Mr. Fetterman, how are you going to make sure it is there for them? You have 60 seconds.
He not gonna make it's there for them, right? He ain't got 60 seconds worth of brain left.
We need to make sure that Dr. Oz and the Republicans believe in cutting Medicare and Social Security. And I believe that they have to support and expand Social Security. And if somebody sends me to Social Security, and if somebody sends me to Washington, D.C., I would support and stand and to support security, Social Security.
And I think to journalism. So I was shocked. I'm still really upset about it. And I think the positive is it's brought a lot of conversations around accommodations, around rights, around ableism, right?
Ableism. Remember, right? The Democrats they so much of this Me Too and everybody a victim, right? They had ableism. They done put some other shit. Ableism. Hashtag ableism. Fetterman. Ableism. Oh, they bullying ableism, right? They done created a whole nother category of victims. Now it's the ableismers.
Now, again, I can't just say one thing other than that Dr. Oz would not support, and he would support cutting Medicare. And that's
John, why do you say that? I've never said that.
It's absolutely a fact. It's a fact.
It's absolutely a fact. It's a fact. I know it's a fact.
You would have voted against the Inflation Reduction Act, which has dropped our prescription drugs, and he doesn't believe.
Okay, gentlemen, we need to move on.
I mean, ableism was trending on Twitter.
Ableism. We got to move on. You heard ableism was trending on Twitter. Think about this. We created a whole nother class of victims. Ableism is a victim is a person now. A person is an ableismer.
It just shows there's so much work to do, but these networks have to take accountability.
Again, Dr. Oz, loves free money when it's a $500,000 tax break on one of his, homes down in a ranch in Florida, and whether it was a $50 tax break, about his farm in Montgomery County. So it's about supporting and helping, young earners, young students to give them a break. I believe that supporting
all right.
Okay, that's enough, nigga. That's enough. Cut this nigga show. You don't know what the fuck he talking about. Cut his show. Right? This nigga talking about taxes on houses, nigga. You got the ultimate tax break. You paid $1 for your house. Nigga, that's the ultimate tax break.
Let me just ask specifically.
Right, like where is your training? Right. It was appalling to see. And you see that in schools. You see that with young children. You don't expect to see it at this level.
Why does bitch keep on bringing up young children? Leave the kids out of this. Kids ain't got nothing to do with grown men having a debate.
With the plan to ease student loan debt, the debt forgiveness of $10,000, $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients, do you support that position?
I do absolutely support that. I believe, like I said, it's about helping young learners, be able to get a better start, getting off in the start of their life. And I do believe that. And I believe a majority of Americans support that as well, too.
This nigga said young learners. What the hell is a young learner? A young learner. He making up words.
Helping young learners.
All right, Mr. Fetterman, I want to ask you the same question that I asked Ms.
What is that a new pronoun? Young learners. I heard of students, you know what I'm saying? I never heard no young learners. What the hell's a young learner?
Mr. Oz, and what is your plan to bring down the cost of higher education long term? You have 1 minute.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't answer the question whatsoever.
I did answer the question.
Mr. Oz, please give him a moment.
You didn't. I fundamentally believe that every quality public university education should be very affordable in every state, and I think that needs to be a significant.
This nigga talking in sections, right? 2 words at a time. I think that every border interstate should have. You talking like RTD2 or something? Is this nigga a robot?
Again, investment, to make sure that anyone be able to afford to go to get a 4-degree university degree, at Penn State or at Pitt or any state schools, to make it much more affordable. And that means acquiring a significant investment to make sure and create it affordable that every family can afford.
Wait, that don't even make sense.
And, I haven't heard an apology. It hasn't come.
Bitch, you ain't gonna
I
hear
am
one.
hopeful that, they will reflect and see that they did an incredible disservice to all Americans.
All Americans. They didn't do no disservice to me by calling his ass handicapped. The nigga is handicapped. He's not what do you call it? Ability, whatever the hell that word is, #abilityism.
How exactly, Mr. Fetterman, do you propose doing that to make it more affordable for families?
No, I just believe, making it that much more, it costs too much. And I believe providing the resources to reduce the tuition to allow families to be able to afford it.
All right.
You can't do that by yourself. You can't do it in Pennsylvania. Your ass ain't gonna be able to do it. It's a nice idea, but it ain't gonna happen. You have no control over that, because guess what? Them schools are private industries. They can do whatever the fuck they want to.
All right, thank you, Mr. Oz. Mr. Fetterman, if elected, what would you do for vocational education? You have 30 seconds.
Again, I think it's just the same way that university 4 degrees as well too. Supporting that and partnering with the unions and making sure that vocation training are is affordable, and providing the resources to make sure everyone has the opportunity. Going to college isn't the right choice for every person, but going to those kind of vocational schools, able to create a career to.
Nigga, what? Like what the fuck? I mean, I thought Joe Biden was bad. He's like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris rolled up into one, right? He like all them motherfuckers. He like both of them rolled up into one. Can't speak, can't remember shit, and he's silent, word toss, silent all damn paragraph.
To Wayne. Reach a lot of high salary, and again, supporting to reduce those costs are critical too.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Dennis.
Moving now, multiple members of Congress, specifically Democrats, have called for the Supreme Court to be expanded. Candidates, we want to know where you stand on this.
And that nigga Fetterman say he don't go for it, a damn lie. They'll kick his ass out of Congress tomorrow. Let that shit come to a vote. Let them eliminate the filibuster and let that shit come to a vote. I guarantee it, if he in the Senate, he'll vote for that shit.
Mr. Fetterman, should the Supreme Court be expanded? And if so, by how many justices? You have 60 seconds.
I don't believe, I don't stand, and I don't believe in that. I fundamentally believe that even though I don't agree with the ideological breakup of the Supreme Court, I believe it.
How many times is nigga say? How many times he gonna say I believe or I agree with that? I believe.
It's not about changing the rules. It's about acknowledging where we're at, much the way the Republicans want to try to change the Constitution about how our Supreme Court in Pennsylvania was going to be done, and I don't support that. So I think it's critical that we be consistent, and I do not believe in supporting the Supreme Court.
Mr. Oz, same question to you. Should the Supreme Court be expanded? If so, by how many justices? You have 60 seconds.
I would never touch the makeup of the Supreme Court, and I would advocate to leave it the exact same size it is. But John Fetterman's radical positions have spilled over into what he would do in Washington. One of the first things he has said, and he came back to the campaign trail, is that he wanted to bust the filibuster, which means removing the brakes on the Senate overreacting. That's
true. That is true.
That's true. That you heard that? That's true. That's where he fucked up at. Because now Dr. Osmond explained, well, if that's true, your ass really agree with packing the court too.
But if you do that, then you would free up the Democrats in the Senate without getting the normal amount of votes to actually expand the Supreme Court, add more states, do things that are detrimental to the well-being of the country.
And you can't tell me if your ass is the 51st vote, right, on expanding the Supreme Court and all the democracy shit you talking about, all the Democrat shit you talking about, you mean you're gonna be the only senator that don't push it? Yeah, fucking right. That's not gonna happen.
So I think, and your first day back, arguing that we should get rid of the filibuster is a dangerously radical move that would hurt Washington. It's not in our nation's best interest.
Once again, I would just like to say that my campaign is all about fighting for anyone in Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that had to get back up again. You know, I'm also fighting for any forgotten community all across Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that had to be made to get back up.
Made to get back up. Somebody need to knock your ass out because the shit you said don't even make sense. They need to knock your ass out, and maybe they can knock some sense into your damn head, because this shit is not working at all.
You know, I've made my entire career dedicating to those kinds of pursuits. I started as a GED instructor back in Braddock over 20 years ago because I believe it's about serving Pennsylvania, not about using Pennsylvania for their own end interests as well. To me, careers are revealed by your real underlying values. And my values have always been about fighting for forgotten communities all across Pennsylvania.
That don't mean shit, right? Pennsylvania, I'm finna leave you with this, Pennsylvania. I'm finna leave you with this. It's very important who you pick, right? As you're gonna pick somebody who got guaranteed sense, who's been to college, who's operated, who's been on TV, who had a successful career, right? Who got it the hard way, right? Or are you going to vote for somebody who, right, that got up here and lied, who's talking about he changed the city of Braddock, right, to get sympathy for his people in the city? He got the names of the victims on his arm. He don't dress in clean clothes. He's dirty. He got a big ass bump on the back of his neck, which nobody is talking about, right? Like, you got a decision to make, because the decision you make could drop our oils down. The decision you make could drop our food down. The decision you make could keep our border safe, could keep our enemies safe, right? I mean, not our enemies, our country safe, right? It could keep a lot of things safe, right? It depends on you, Pennsylvania, right? This is your chance to shine. This is your chance to do what's right. This is your chance to make up. If your ass need to make up and put Republicans back in, now is your opportunity, because guess what? If we lose this opportunity right here, we don't know when we might get it back. Thank y'all for coming out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put up my commercial for my merchandise coming soon. You can't donate. All you got to do is buy some merchandise. I got hats, shirts, hoodies, all that shit. Shorts, all that shit. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, if I get some more donations, I'm going to make one of these skits. I got about 5 skits lined up, y'all, but we got to get some more donations so I have the time to make these skits. Y'all saw a couple of them yesterday if you was tuned in, but I can't stay in the house with a couple of donations like this. So if you want them, let's get it. I'm out of here. See y'all on the rebound. On the rebound.